2022 regular meeting of the Conservation Commission. We'll start with going through a roll call of the members of the commission. And then for those watching, the applicant will be asked to make a presentation. And at the end of the presentation, Landis, our conservation agent, will make some comments. We'll then go through the commission with questions or comments. Excuse me. And then we'll open it up to the audience for comments or questions. And we ask that any comments, questions be relative to the hearing and with conservation issues. And also, when you want to speak, raise your hand and Landis will let you come in. So we only have one person speaking at a time. So with that, we'll do our roll call. At this point, we have two members who haven't logged in yet. So Bailey is recognized.
Yeah, to say one thing, I'm sorry, Jack, just one more thing. Just as far as the butter comments or any interested party, if you could let me know in chat your name, that would be probably easier at this point than raising hands. When the chair indicates that he's going to take comment from the audience.
Okay, so we'll go through the commission on those present. Bailey?
Here.
Doug?
Here.
Betsy?
Here.
Al?
Here.
Jack? Here. Okay, our first hearing is on the abbreviated notice resource area delineation for Norfolk County Hilltop Farm on North Street, and representing the applicant.
Do you want me to read the ad, Jack?
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Okay. Anna Walpole, abbreviated notice of resource area delineation, Conservation Commission, public hearing in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and the Walpole Wetlands Protection Bylaw. Notice is hereby given of the intent of the County of Norfolk Engineering Department to confirm the wetlands resource boundaries on Hilltop Farm, North Street, map 5, lots 33, 34, 35, and 36, map 2, lot 5 and 6 in Walpole. Plans are on file at the Conservation Commission office. The public hearing on the above matter will be held on Zoom, February 9th, 2022, beginning at 7 p.m. All interested parties are requested to be present. John Wiley, Chairman, Walpole Conservation Commission. Give me a minute and I'll have share available. Oops. That's not what I want. Okay.
Okay, representing the applicant.
I'm Mark Manganello with LEC Environmental Consultants.
Okay. Go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you. Could I share my screen?
Yep, all set. Go ahead.
Thank you. I believe Pat Higgins from Norfolk County Engineering Department is also on the call here with me tonight. This is an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation as has been noted for Hilltop Farm. I think many of you are probably familiar with the property, but this aerial photo, if you can all see that, nicely shows the property boundaries, the parcels that comprise the property, and the general characteristics of the property. The ANRAD is just for the purpose of seeking wetland boundaries. There's no project proposed at this time. We understand the commission has received a proposal from a peer reviewer and that process is underway. So we expect that to proceed as weather conditions allow, and we'll be back before you as that process makes its way toward a conclusion. So this proposal is to confirm the boundaries of bordering vegetated wetlands. There's bank associated with an intermittent stream. There's bank and mean annual high water associated with the perennial stream. And there's riverfront area associated with the perennial stream. The larger wetland system on the property, if you can see my cursor, is over on the western portion of the property over here, extends down to the southwestern corner and continues off-site. That's the intermittent stream system that's been delineated. Way up in the northeastern corner of the property, there's a perennial stream, bubbling brook, that flows almost along the property line there. We've delineated the mean annual high water mark to that, as well as a small bordering vegetated wetland area over there. I'm going to flip to one of the plans here. This site was delineated in 2017 by another individual. When the county reached out to me, they asked me to go out there and provide my own opinion of the flagging. I went out there in December, walked the entire site, walked the entire delineated line. I generally agreed with the bordering vegetated wetland delineation out there. I didn't move any of the flags, thought they were all good. It's a fairly straightforward delineation in that there's a significant topographic break as you extend down from the hilltop to the west where this wetland system is, and same goes in the northeastern corner of the property. There's a pretty nice topographic break that distinguishes between the upland and the wetland. The wetland plant community, in terms of vegetation, is also fairly distinct, and the hydrosoil characteristics follow the existing delineation. So I essentially adopted the BVW delineation. We decided it was important to delineate bank to the intermittent stream as well as to the perennial stream so that we could establish that resource area on the plans. And I'm just going to bounce over to the plans now. Here. So this is the cover sheet. Obviously, this shows the locus. It's broken into 6 sheets. Not all of these 6 sheets have wetlands on them, but I'll just run through them so you can see each of them. This is sheet 2. This is the northeastern corner of the property, bordering vegetated wetland line here, and then 5 bank flags right up along the edge of the stream. And again, you can see the topographic contours, how quickly topography rises from that corner. Let's see. Get out of here. This is sheet 3. This just kind of picks up a small corner of the delineation on the western portion of the property. You can see North Street to the right. I'll jump to sheet 4 here. So this shows the southwestern corner of the property. This is where the delineation extends off-site. You can see the bank flags are within the bordering vegetated wetland. I'm going to zoom in on that just a little. Oh, maybe not. There's an old agricultural crossing here. This is a break in the delineation. So the stream is culverted here, and then the stream flows into kind of an open water body here. So the bank delineation stops, and then it picks up again as the stream reforms and continues off-site to the south. And that sheet's not going to open for me. This is the northern portion of the property. There's no wetlands in this area. And that previous sheet's not going to open for me. Let me see if I can do it another way. These files are pretty large, so it's sometimes bogs down the system. While I'm doing that, I should say we also ran stream stats just to confirm that the intermittent stream is in fact intermittent, and it came out well below the half square mile watershed that would otherwise trigger further review of its characteristics. Okay, here's the other bit of the delineation on the western portion of the property. So you can see here the BVW line does not continue all the way to the property line. It actually continues further north here. And then there's a westerly portion of this BVW that we didn't delineate as well. Those boundaries were not delineated because the purpose of the ANRADs to confirm boundaries that are associated with the larger, easterly portion of the property up on the hill. These boundaries really don't affect that, so they're not part of this application. We would expect that as we get to an agreement on the delineation, that when the commission issues an order of resource area delineation, they will make note that there are additional boundaries that have not been delineated. And you can see the bank here. So these black flags, black boundaries are the intermittent stream. Again, here it flows into a large flooded marsh area. There's no real distinct channel or stream flow within this area. Down further to the south here, again, it becomes channelized, flows briefly off site, and then back on site on sheet 4, I guess. So just to make sure you're oriented here. The delineation you see at the bottom of this sheet continues on the top of, actually it continues to the corner of this sheet and then onto the top of this. We didn't delineate on the adjacent property because it's not part of the site. So that's really an overview of it. As I said, there's a peer review process underway. We're not expecting any decisions from the commission tonight. We know the peer review has to occur, and that the peer reviewer and myself need to agree on the delineation before the commission will move on this. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Okay, Landis, maybe you want to start with what we're involved with a peer review so that everybody
Sure.
knows what's going on.
Yep. So when we received the application, I briefly discussed with the applicant the possibility of a peer review, and they seemed to be open to that. And so I sent out a proposal, or I sent out the ANRAD to Beta Consultant, which is a group that we've worked with before, and received a proposal. I sent the proposal to the applicant to review as well, and they seem to be okay with that. So I know, Jack, I had talked to you about it and mentioned it, I think maybe to Betsy as well when she was in my office. So the commission does have to vote on the peer review. And then once we receive a check from the applicant, then the peer review process will start. But we're pretty much are in line to begin the peer review process if the commission votes an okay on that tonight.
Okay, and we'd have to wait and expect until ground conditions would allow for a peer review to be worthwhile to undertake.
Right. We did get a significant snowfall and some weather pretty much right after the filing. So we would both the Beta person we work with, the Beta as well as I, and I think the applicant agree that we can't really have a snowpack if we're going to go out there and take a look at the wetlands line. So it's sort of contingent somewhat on the weather.
Okay.
And it looks like Emilio is with us now. Hi, Emilio.
How you doing?
Okay, Emilio has joined us. Just indicate you're with us now. Emilio, say hi.
I am with you now.
Okay, thanks. Okay, we'll go through the commission now with any questions or comments. Bailey?
No questions.
Okay. Doug,
Not at this time.
Emilio?
No, definitely in favor of the peer review, but that's all I have for now.
Okay, Betsy?
Yeah, I have a question. So you did a watershed analysis to determine that you've really got an intermittent stream. But then you said that that intermittent stream is flowing into a large flooded marsh. And I get your point, because I've heard about intermittent streams before, that if you do the watershed analysis, that doesn't, and it comes out intermittent, then you don't have to do anything more. I kind of would like beta to make sure about that intermittent stream if it's coming out into a flooded marsh. I haven't seen it, haven't walked on site, so maybe it's completely intermittent, but I know there are some other things you can do besides a watershed analysis to determine if something is intermittent.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would expect they will review that. The first thing you do is check to see if the stream is depicted as perennial on the USGS map, and it's not. So that's the first place you start. If it's not, then you look to see the watershed, the size of the watershed area, and it has to be one square mile at least to be considered perennial.
But then
If
there's
it's a half square mile, then there's another couple of steps you take to review it, but it doesn't meet that number.
okay, because then there's also this flow analysis I seem to remember from some past project. It just, when you say large flooded marsh, I'm thinking, okay, where's the water coming from and how often does it flow? So that just
Yep.
into my head. That
No, that's completely reasonable. I think the way the system functions is that these marsh areas are fed by groundwater largely. So the streams sort of connect them. Of course, I was there in December, so, there was a lot of water there. But I wouldn't be surprised if in the summer the streams dry up, but the flooded marshes still are either saturated to the surface or maybe even have some standing water.
Okay.
The
Landis,
peer
would you
review
note Betsy's
Jack-
comments to forward to Beta for when they get involved? Anything else,
Yep,
Betsy?
I was just gonna say that every aspect of the ANRAD that was submitted to the commission will be reviewed by the peer reviewer. So that includes the intermittent versus perennial streams and wetlands areas.
Betsy, anything else?
No, nothing else. Thank you.
Okay, Al?
I agree, we need a peer review. And I would like to see more information on the intermittent stream. However, that's probably not a big issue here. The better issue is down near the Bubbling Brook Restaurant and how it flows in that area and how much of it floods. I know we have flooding problems in town, so I expect that we'll be checking up on that. That's all at this time.
Okay. Okay. For those in the audience, if you would like to make a comment, as Landis said, please let her know through chat, is it? And keep in mind, this is a area resource delineation. There is no project proposed under this filing. So this is strictly for a review of the wetland lines as they are demarcated there. So you just keep that in mind if you have any questions. So if you want to get in through Landis so you can make your comment or question, please identify yourself for the record.
Okay, at the moment, there is nobody who is logged in chat to speak, so can give it a few minutes.
Okay.
Just put your name.
Anybody showing up?
Nope, nobody's showing up.
Okay,
No,
All
there's
right.
someone, Patrick Higgins. Patrick Higgins.
But yeah, Patrick Higgins is with Norfolk County. If he wants to say something, he's the applicant.
Oh,
Good-
Go ahead, Patrick.
Okay, good evening. I got on the Zoom, my Zoom was spinning, so I was a little bit late joining the meeting had started. So I just wanted to thank the commission for going through the presentation with Mark from Mangello from LEC. We look forward to working with the peer reviewer and with Landis as you review the ANRAD application. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to supply whatever the town of Walpole needs from the county. Thank you.
okay, thank you.
you got Bill Hamilton. He's raising his hand.
Oh, okay.
Bill needs to unmute himself.
Yeah, I can handle that, Betsy. Let me be the coordinator here. Okay, go ahead, Bill.
Yes, my question is, when are we going back to real meetings?
Right here, you have to.
We'll be discussing that later.
Okay, did you? I already did.
Did you hear that, Jack?
I heard that, yes. Do you have anything else, Bill, or is that your question?
Well, it's very difficult. I'm at the library and of course they kick me out at 9 o'clock. I don't know how late you're gonna go, but I'm out of here at 9 o'clock. I don't have equipment that's capable for Zooming. And, this is very difficult to participate in this.
Right.
And I don't have a chat capability here. This equipment here at the library is new to me, so I don't have the ability to chat. That's why I just simply raised my hand. But I'm hoping that we get out of this Zoom mode. Thank you.
We appreciate your comment. Anyone else?
Okay. Yes, Rudy, you want to unmute yourself?
Yes, I'm unmuted now. Yeah, Rudy Barajas, 1400 North Street. Just a quick comment. I'm very familiar with with the area. I walk in the area a lot and year round. And I think a comment was made just a little bit earlier about that, surmising that the stream dries up during the summer months. We see the stream flowing year round on both ends of the marshy area. Just wanted to say that.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Anyone else?
Is there anyone
Okay.
else that wants to speak? You can either say so in chat, or you can put your video on and raise your hand. It's easier. I can see everyone now.
You getting any
Nope.
showing up? Okay. Considering the weather, well, first of all, do we vote on the peer review now or
Yeah.
later in the meeting? You
No,
want to do
you
it
can
now?
vote on it. You can vote on it now.
Okay, so those who are tuned in know that what we've done on that aspect. All right, we have a proposal from Beta to do the peer review. It's been passed on to the applicant. And they are in the process of reviewing that and anticipating that they will approve that proposal. Someone make a motion to accept the Beta proposal for a peer review on this project.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, that was made by Al, second by Betsy. All in favor, Bailey,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Medio,
Aye.
Betsy,
Aye.
Al,
Aye.
Jack, aye. Okay, so we have approved the Beta peer review proposal. So as soon as we get the okay back from the applicant, then we can start, but also we have to consider the weather and the ground conditions. With that in mind, what would make sense for rescheduling this hearing or continuing this hearing to a future Conservation Commission meeting? Landis, have you got any suggestions?
Well, I would at least go to March 9th.
Okay. All right, we go to March 9th, depending upon the ability of the beta to conduct their peer review. We would schedule this. Have we got anything on for March 9th?
No, we do not.
Okay, we could schedule this for 7 PM on March 9th. Someone make that a motion?
So move.
Second,
I have a second. It was by Al, second by Betsy. Okay, all in favor? Bailey,
aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Emilio,
Aye.
Betsy,
Aye.
Al,
Aye.
Jack, aye. Okay, so this will be continued until March 9th at 7 PM.
Thank you all.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you all
Yep.
for tuning in. The next item is notice of intent for Comstock Way. Landis, you want to do the read in the notice?
Yep. Town of Walpole, notice of intent, Conservation Commission public hearing in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act and the Walpole Wetlands Protection Bylaw. Notice is hereby given of the intent of James and Courtney Monahan, 12 Comstock Way, map 56, lot 83, to construct a pool and a patio within 100 feet of wetlands. Plans are on file at the Conservation Commission. Public hearing on the above matter will be held on Zoom on February 9th, 2022, beginning at 7:15. All interested parties are requested to be present. John Wiley, Chairman, Walpole Conservation Commission.
Okay, representing the applicant.
Russ Waldron, Applied Ecological Sciences. So I'm gonna make an attempt here to share my screen. I haven't had much luck doing this in the past, so I'm gonna hit share screen and see what happens. Ah, there it is. Hey, it worked. And
Great.
my studying up today paid off. So anyways, like Landis said, this is a proposal to install an in-ground pool, 40 by 20 in-ground pool with associated patios and walks. This area here will be a pergola covered kitchen area and a fire pit. The applicants are also proposing to install a 14 by 18 by 8-foot shed here off the left rear corner of the house. And this light blue double line is a proposed fieldstone retaining wall. The existing tree line is right here. That's sort of shadowed in the background. So these folks don't have a lot of backyard, so their plan is to clear between here and the existing conservation bounds, which is where the retaining wall is going to go. And then this area is going to get seeded for expanded lawn. And there's some other landscape walls and such associated with the patio. And I flagged the site, oh gosh, earlier this season. And, you know, my delineation came out a little bit lower than the original delineation, which I assume was done for the construction of the house. Since the concrete conservation bounds are in place, we kept all disturbance outside of those because those are the record bounds and they're not going to change. So I just let it be known that you know, there was going to be no disturbance beyond those. And there will be some proposed grading once there's going to be some fill and regrading of the backyard once the retaining wall goes in. And these light green lines are the proposed grades, existing grades are the light grade dashed lines. And that's about the gist of it. Pool, patio, shed, retaining wall, push the tree line back, regrade the backyard and expand the lawn.
Okay. Landis?
So Russ, you have the old plan up.
Yeah,
So-
I'll try and pop up the Gino's updated plan. I don't know if it'll happen, but I may have to. Did that work?
No, you still have the same plan up.
Okay, I have to probably hang on a sec.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oop. That one. I'm just trying to get the screen sharing thing back up. I don't know where it went. Oh, there it is. New share. I think I have to pop that up on there first.
So just to explain to the commissioners, so this plan was reviewed by me and also the town engineer took a look at it. And there was a few items that we wanted to be clarified on the plan. The little more information on the retaining wall. We asked for a
There it is.
detail. Okay, which was submitted.
Yep.
So now we have the retaining wall, the top and the bottom of the wall and a detail of the retaining wall also. Well, while I was looking at your wetlands line also, Russ, it looks like, so kind of in the area of now where the detail is, your line kind of disappeared. Is there a reason for that?
Why the detail is here?
Well, no, that your wetlands line didn't cover that corner where the detail is now located on the original plan. You just not go that
Oh, I
far.
probably just, yeah, that's as far as I flagged. I wasn't exactly sure where the property line was, but I kind of eyeballed where the pool was gonna go. And
Okay.
that's where I started flagging from. That's all. I just
Something-
didn't push it any farther that way.
Something happened to your plan. It got,
There you go.
there you go. That's better.
I have to keep popping between the two.
Okay, all right, so now they have information on the wall, a detail of the wall. The lines of the proposed and the existing grades are a little clearer. The green and the blue was kind of hard to read. So that's been clarified. The erosion control has been clarified. And then there was a stone wall here that just wasn't clear what was happening with that. I know it's been put on the plan in regards to that the yard is going to be loamed and seeded afterwards. Again, as Russ explained, the no alteration bounds are there on the plan and in the field, and they're actually they won't be going beyond the original no alteration plans. So that's all I have, Chairman. Just the items that I had brought up earlier were taken care of.
Okay. Bailey, any questions or comments?
Does the, is it accurate that the property line, it goes all the way up to the, is it Gillette parking lot?
Correct. I believe that's, I'll have to pop the other plan open. Hang on. I don't know if it goes all the way to it. I'm not really sure. I think the property line is, well, one side is here, goes out to an iron rod, and then the property actually extends to the north east quite a ways. It's sort of an odd shaped lot. So yeah, it might in fact go all the way that far.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Courtney. And you were just on it, but how tall is the retaining wall? I apologize.
It's 48 inches, up to 48 inches by the detail.
Great, thank you. That's all.
Okay. Doug,
No questions.
Emilio? Emilio, are you? May have to unmute.
Go ahead,
yourself.
Emilio.
Oh, sorry, yeah, my internet connection is a little unstable. Is the area wooded right now? Is the area wooded right now?
Correct, it is.
Okay, and so there'll be no activity beyond the current
Nothing beyond the current where the conservation bounds are.
border, the boundary? So you can-
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Are you going to be staging any loam or dirt anywhere in this area?
I don't know. I imagine once it gets down to time to reestablish the lawn, the loam will come in, get spread, and get seeded pretty quickly.
Correct.
I don't think it'll get stockpiled for any length of time, no.
Okay, we just want to make sure that that obviously doesn't leak into the wetlands area. So
No, I mean, if by chance there was gonna be some, if there were time delays or something, we'd enclose it in some more erosion control, and if necessary, get it tarped over just in case.
yeah, okay, all right, that's all I have.
Okay, Betsy,
Nope, no comments.
Al,
I'd like an explanation of this retaining wall. I see an L shape with a bunch of stones stacked against it. Is the L-shaped concrete and a veneer of fieldstones?
It looks like it might be the case. Gino Domenico, he's the architect who designed all this. He could probably tell you more definitively than I can. He's with us, but it does kind of look like that. Yes. To me.
can you answer that?
Yeah, it's sitting on a crushed, it's going to be sitting on a crushed stone base, and that's all crushed stone behind it.
Ah,
That's a 12-inch backfill of crushed stone and a little bit of room at the top for loam. And it's enclosed in filter fabric, the gravel. So the water will drain through to the perforated pipe at the bottom and then drain out to daylight, or we may end up with it in a dry well.
Okay, now relating to that, if it's 4 feet high, I don't see a fence on the top that's required.
yeah, well, if that's
Well,
required, if they do go to 4 feet, then they'll have to add a fence. It says up
Right.
to 4 feet.
Right.
So I think they're probably leaving themselves a little elbow room there, meaning it may not go all the way to the 4-foot mark.
Most of it is 36 inches to 42 inches. There are a few spots that are close to 48. Some of those spots are probably spots where there'll be planting.
Should we add
as
a
I-
note? Should we
as
add
I
a note to the
understand,
plan?
3 feet, it has to have a fence.
Al, should we have a note on the plan that if it approaches 4 feet, that they'll need a fence?
It needs a fence if it's 3 feet or more.
Okay, 3 feet or more?
Yeah,
Okay, so I have to add that note on the plan for that.
Okay.
Anything
but
else, Al?
other than that, it looks good.
Okay, okay. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Please identify yourself for the record.
Hold on. Okay.
Is there anybody trying to,
Well,
comment?
Courtney just, just shy of it. Was that was pertaining to the,
My question,
Gillette Stadium? Okay, sorry. I didn't notice that was before. So just, I don't see anyone in chat. Assuming this is gonna be a salt pool, generally, these days they are.
Correct. Yeah. I don't know if you can even get chlorine pools anymore now, do you? Do they even do them?
I don't know. They seem to come in most, all as salt.
Yeah.
Okay. No one's, wants to make a comment from the audience?
You can unmute yourself and just speak up if you have a comment. I don't see anybody in chat, so.
Okay. All right. Seems like we could, based on the discussion we had in the comments, that we could close the hearing. And okay, Landis?
Yep, you want to get out of the share, Russ?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
will someone make a motion to close the hearing?
So move.
Second,
Okay, all in favor, Bailey,
aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Emilio,
Aye.
Betsy,
aye.
Al,
Aye.
Jack, aye. Okay, on the, for the order, we have a standard order, that, with a pool that, we have orders there, and I think, you need to add a note, and we'll put this in the order. The note should be added to the plan regarding, fence required if it's, if the wall exceeds, is it 3 feet? Is that the number?
I believe so.
Okay. So that needs to be put on the plan, and we'll make that a condition in our order as well. Anything else?
Just any material that's stockpiled should be stockpiled outside of the buffer zone if need be, and surrounded with additional erosion control. That the street should be swept if necessary.
Did we have a construction entrance on this, or are they using a driveway?
I believe they're
Driveway.
using a driveway.
Okay. Yeah, just to add there, if there's any sediment carried over into the street, it needs to be swept.
Yep.
Anything else? Okay, someone want to make that motion?
So move.
Second,
Okay, all in favor, Bailey,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Emilio? Emilio? Did we lose Emilio?
Oh,
maybe he can raise his.
aye.
hand.
Okay, there's Emilio, aye. Okay, Betsy?
Yes, I said aye.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear it. Okay, I'm sorry. Al?
Aye.
Jack, aye. Okay. Thank you all. It takes,
Thank you.
Very much.
and we'll get, you'll get those revisions we asked to be put on the plan, get those in, and then we can get the order out. Okay?
Good.
Let's see, our next hearing is 7:30 at land disturbance permit at 455 South Street for Neponset Solar. Landis, you want to read into the record?
Sure. So we have a continued public hearing, Town of Walpole request for the request for determination was closed. So land disturbance permit, Conservation Commission public hearing In accordance with Walpole Wetlands Protection Act and Walpole Wetlands Protection Bylaw, notice is hereby given of the intent of Neponset Solar LLC to install a ground-mounted solar installation outside of conservation jurisdiction at 455 South Street in Walpole. Plans for the land disturbance permit are on file with the Conservation Commission office. Public hearing is on Zoom, and it was originally January 12th, 2022, and has been continued to tonight of February 9th, 2022.
Okay, anything new to be added into the record?
So there were revised plans that were put up on the website and provided to Al, and myself and the town engineer and the applicant met to review the last plans and go over any changes that were discussed at the last meeting and that the town engineer had concerns with. And that's what the revised plans are that were provided for tonight's meeting. So I don't know if the applicant might want to just pop those up, share those, and briefly go over the changes that were made.
Okay, representing the applicant.
Hi there, my name is Matt Kennedy. I'm with Biodiversity Research Institute. Also joined here on the call with Dale Knapp of BRI, Ian Jukes of Krebs and Lansing, engineer, and Michael Wigney, attorney at Mackey. So I can share my screen with the revised plan sets that were sent to the board. Yeah, so some of the revisions that were addressed from both Landis, the commission, and Carl's comments were regarding the project access road. We revised some drainage calculations from the comments from the engineer. We added an additional detention basin. We also provided more detailed erosion prevention and sediment control plan that I can show on page 8. That shows the phasing of the construction of this project. There were some additional notes, details, and specifications added per the comments from the board, town engineer, conservation commission, and fire department. We also have included the limits of the FEMA floodplain. And in addition to this, not just the plan set, but in the financial surety decommissioning plan, there was some adjustments made there, specifically regarding the year 1 total of decommissioning was adjusted to $200,000. In addition to that, there were some comments about the XCU hazards that were covered under the applicant's insurance policy, and there were some emails that were provided to the commission regarding Ironwood's insurance agent, and we sent over the updated certificate of insurance. So those were the comments. I think this was the biggest change, was the addition of this plan. If there's specific areas where you would like to go into more detail or see, I'm happy to go to do that. Ian, is there anything you would like to add?
Yeah, we got some comments from Carl. First of all, Landis and Carl met with us, and they were generous with their time.
Can you just introduce yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Ian Jukes from Krebs and Lansing Consulting Engineers, representing Ironwood. Excuse me. Carl sent out a memo, let's see, on the 8th. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have seen it yet or not. He requested a couple minor changes. He wanted the settling basins labeled as infiltration, which we're fine with. He wants a requirement that the engineering department witness soil testing in the infiltration basins, and we certainly are fine with that. And it looks like one of our drainage study points was wrong on one of our sheets, number 2, which we certainly would change. So we're in agreement with what Carl was asking for. I think generally what was going on in this, what you guys needed on this plan for detail was the phasing. And I don't know if I know Landis has seen this, but I don't know if the rest of the board has. The thought process here is to take the green area, which is really the beginning of the east end of the site, and get that finished up first. It's got a bunch of infiltration basins, stormwater improvements in the road on it, and an area for topsoil stockpiling. In the beginning of the project, actually topsoil would be coming in there. We did change the notes so that we're calling for virgin topsoil, which is very much in the applicant's interest also. So there's some cut at the southwest end and fill up at the north end. So we'll get as much of that done in the beginning as we can and get that area topsoil seeded and stabilized. And then once that area is stabilized, we'll move on to the phase 2 area, which is really where the bulk of the soil removal is coming from. So that operation will take a while to get that dirt out of there. And then we'll finish, get that area to grade and then move on to phase 3 and 4 until we've got the whole site trimmed down to the final contours. And obviously the idea is to stabilize each phase completely before you move on to the next. So that's the general idea of it. You have any questions?
Okay. Landis?
Yep. So the town engineer's comments that were already read are also in my report too. So you can see that. And it's, we had a good meeting. I'm glad there was more information about the phasing and how the site's going to be handled during construction with stabilizing areas after year grading, and that the basins, there's an additional sedimentation basins for during construction, but on the plan just to control any stormwater on the site, which is what we like to see. There seems to be a fair amount of a construction entrance. So we definitely don't want any material tracked out onto the street. So that'll have to be kept up as you go along. And the stockpiling. So all the additions that we talked about last time have been added. I have a couple of conditions if the commission does vote to issue this. One unusual thing about this project is that the site was not surveyed yet. So we would want a survey of the site, of the lot, prior to them beginning. There also wasn't the infiltration basins were designed based on the soil data rather than doing soil test pits in site. So we would also want the basins to have the proper soil testing prior to beginning the project. Those are the two main things that need to be done prior to them moving forward. And that information, we can condition that on that information being provided to the commission and the town engineer before the pre-construction meeting, which would be before anything happened on site. I have a couple other conditions. I know last meeting Betsy was concerned with any invasive species on site, so we could also condition that they just be handled properly when you're clearing the site, meaning bagged up and removed. Those are the main ones that I'll bring up now. And then if the commission decides to close an issue, I can bring up the other ones.
Okay. Bailey, any questions or comments?
Quick question. Pardon my potential ignorance here. How are you getting to phase 3? Where's like the road to get there? And I can understand phase 2, how you're removing dirt with the path, but how are you doing that with phase 3 and 4?
Oh, we'll just drive right through them, through the earlier phase. Let's keep a construction road through there.
Where might that be? Can you point
Oh,
that
sure.
out
It would
for me?
drive kind of right through where it says phase 2.
Okay, so
You
So
get up
phase-
above that 205-foot contour and drive over to the west from there.
Okay. And then kind of similar, almost circling back around for phase 4? Or you go back
You
up
might,
that
you
way?
probably just go
Okay.
straight north,
Okay. Okay, thank you.
right? The haul roads will get used for a while and then cleaned up as
Great.
you finish an area and move on to the next.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure.
Doug,
No questions.
Emilio,
No questions.
Betsy,
No questions.
Al?
When I looked at the new plan, there's mention of bars to control erosion from water. But I don't see anything, any notes or anything that explains how you're going to keep dust storms from forming if we don't have any rain. I think we have to be prepared to do something if we don't have any rain, especially once you have loamed and seeded. I don't see anything for watering it to keep it growing. So
We'd have to bring water in, right? So
Oh,
once you
but-
put the loam down, you paid a fair amount of money to get that on site. You're really gonna be careful to make sure it stays there.
Well, that's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, so we'd have to truck water in.
Okay, but that's not mentioned on the plan. But with the
Okay, we could add
contract,
stuff to that
has
if you
to
like.
do that. That's my question. I want to make sure that since these weather patterns we've been having where we can go for 2 months without any rain in the middle of summer, I want to make sure that we're going to not have dust storms all over the place. So
I mean,
I think you've done a good job on everything else.
So-
I think that has to be clarified.
so just in general, the way you'd handle that is while you're working a sandy soil, you'd have to get a water pig truck out there quite a bit to put water down and keep the dust down. Once you get the loam in place, you may also have to bring water out. But it's gonna, it's a lot more work to spray it, you can't really just drive a truck all over the place once you put the loam down. You have to like get the grass growing.
Sure.
So
And
that is a lot more work. You have to set up sprinklers.
I'll say, my name is Dale Knapp. I'm here on behalf of Ironwood. I think having been out on the site a fair bit, there is quite a bit of actually exposed sand already present on the site. So it's not fine textured material that you'd expect to be moved readily by kind of blowing wind. If anything, I think that establishing a vegetative cover associated with this project as described in the plan would actually provide an improvement in conditions out there. There's a fairly large area that is unvegetated today that I think based on the conditions applied to the project would be required to be vegetated as a result of the project. So I think as Ian described, management during construction and the use of proper site controls in the interim is going to be key, but long-term, it would present, I think, a mitigating effect to your concern.
Al, can I just suggest that we put that in as a condition that during construction, they have, they control for dust? I think
Yeah,
we have
that's
a lot of
fine.
notes on the plan already.
I just want to make sure that that's dealt with so that it doesn't develop into a problem. So that's all I'm concerned about. I think they've done a good job of everything else.
Okay. We can include comments on that in on our conditions. So anybody in the audience have any questions or comments, please identify yourself for the record.
You're welcome to unmute yourself and say you want to make a comment, or say you may want to make a comment in chat, or put on your video and raise your hand.
see if anybody seem like they are trying to.
I do not see anybody new. Nope.
Okay, all right. Hearing none. Does someone want to make a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor? Bailey,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Emilio,
Aye.
Betsy,
aye.
Al,
Aye.
Jack, aye. Okay, so now for the order, Landis, you had some suggestions that you wanted to include. And we just want to add on means that to assure that we do not have a dust blowing off the site.
So dust control during construction.
During construction, I would include that I guess until the site is stabilized, which
Yeah.
may be after they're done with their construction.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna, I know my recommended conditions are in my report, so the commissioners have them, but I'm gonna read them just for everyone else. So this was also the town engineer, the soil testing in each basin shall be witnessed by the engineering department prior to the pre-construction meeting. Documentation of the soil tests and elevations of the mean high annual groundwater shall be provided to the commission and engineering 1 week prior to the pre-construction meeting. An as-built plan shall be provided to the commission upon completion of each basin and prior to pre-construction discharge for review and approval of the town engineer and the conservation agent. A gravel removal plan shall be provided to the commission prior to the pre-construction meeting. A limit of work shall be surveyed, staked in the field, and stakes shall be reviewed and approved by the agent prior to tree cutting. Survey plan shall be submitted to the commission prior to the pre-construction meeting, and an invasive species should be properly removed and disposed from the site. And then dust control during construction until site stabilization.
Okay, anybody have anything else? Okay, someone want to make that a motion?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor? Bailey,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Emilio,
Aye.
Betsy,
aye.
Al,
Aye.
Jack, aye. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
You.
Bye.
Okay. See. On our agenda, we have our March meeting review, how we want to do our meetings in the future. I guess we could even include the next meeting in February, which would be 20. Let's see.
So Jack, the February 23rd has already been advertised as Zoom meeting.
Okay,
So that's why I put March,
okay,
because we have to get the ad in, a while in advance.
yeah. Okay, so we're looking at March and I guess I believe the governor, the governor's declaration of Zoom meetings and their viability is through April. I don't know if that's been extended. Are you aware of any extension to that, Landis?
No, I'm not aware of any changes. I understand the governor just talked about the mask mandate in schools today, but I didn't hear of him talking about anything else.
Okay. So there is, as we've heard tonight, and I don't disagree that in-person meetings are, I think, desirable. The question with the Zoom, doing a hybrid meeting with Zoom and in person. So I guess, is that an option, or do we have to decide one way or the other?
I believe that the hybrid, like we did once, is still an option. I
Okay.
haven't heard otherwise. I know both the planning board and the zoning board did not go back to Zoom meetings.
Are they meeting in person?
Yes, they are.
Okay. All right. My suggestion, I won't be back in town until the second meeting in March. So I would suggest that the first meeting in March be a hybrid meeting. And then we could go to just in-person meetings or continue hybrid. So why don't we toss this around a little bit? Anybody have any comments? Bailey, you have one way or the other?
I like the hybrid options. I think it allows more people to comfortably attend if they feel more comfortable being at home versus going in. But I will personally be there in person. I'm happy to come in.
Okay. Doug?
Hybrid works for me. Thank you.
Okay. Emilio?
Yeah, I vote for in-person meetings.
Okay, you prefer in person?
I do, yeah. I can understand hybrid when you're gone, and then in person from then on. But that's my choice.
Okay. Betsy?
Yep, I agree with Emilio. I want to go back to in-person. I don't know why we keep talking about whatever the governor said 2 years ago about April or something, but I actually would like us to get back to normal. And normal for me is in person, where there's not a big rigmarole for people over a certain age, like Bill Hamilton at the library getting set up. I don't want that for him. I want in person. I get the point, Jack, that you are, where are you, Missouri? Are you in
No,
Missouri? No.
not yet.
I thought you were in
March.
Missouri. Oh, okay. Wherever you are, I mean, I get the point. You'd like us to do the hybrid, but the second you get back, I just want to go back to acting like we're doing normal meetings.
Okay. Al?
I agree with Betsy. I like normal meetings better.
Okay. So the second meeting, our next meeting is listed as a Zoom meeting. So that will be on Zoom. Is that possible to make it otherwise or not?
No, let's keep it like it is.
Well, right now, the next meeting will be on Zoom.
That's okay.
Okay, so the next meeting be on Zoom. The first meeting in March then would be hybrid.
If you want.
Is that what everybody seems to go along with?
It depends on what we're really talking about. Hybrid, but I'd like to hear from the commissioners whether they'll come in person. Because I actually think that us meeting together in person, whatever the public is doing, is important. So we're calling it a hybrid. Yes, Jack, I know you won't be there, but Doug and Bailey, will you be there in person?
Okay, the question was asked, Bailey, would you plan to be there in person? Did you hear the question?
I think she's frozen.
Oh, crap.
Okay, now I hear you.
Now, of course you hear me.
You're going to be there in person, frozen, right?
Yes, I'll be there in
Sit there and
person.
go,
My sentiment came more, I work with a lot of people that have young children and who might not feel comfortable coming into a public setting to present or do what they might need to do if they have something. So that was why my hybrid recommendation was more for the public than for us. I would love to resume in-person meetings. I just don't want to exclude anybody who might not be able to or feel comfortable.
Okay, and Doug, you're gonna come in person?
What's the date of that first March meeting?
March 9th.
9th.
I think I might need to do hybrid personally, but you know, if you have a quorum to do in-person meeting without me, that's fine.
Okay. I guess.
Would you be able to participate on Zoom?
Yeah, I may have answered. I'm not sure. I'm not real clear on what's going to happen in March for me.
Okay.
Okay, I guess there's sort of a deeper discussion here that maybe isn't gonna even work on Zoom, because I don't think discussions go that well on Zoom, actually. But so every time one or the other, now Jack, I know you're out of town twice a year. That's been that way since I've known you, so that's okay. But anytime any of us are out of town, we're zooming in from now on. I mean, I have 3 trips this year. I was just going to let Landis know I won't be able to be at the meeting. I mean, I'm just wondering, is the new thing going to be that,
Can I just jump in here for just a second? Sorry, Betsy, I don't mean to cut you off, but I just realized that there is someone still waiting in regards to 7 Dowling Street certificate of compliance. So if you guys are gonna discuss this a little bit further, perhaps you could just do the certificate of compliance and then get back to the discussion of the
Yeah,
meeting.
why don't we do that? Go ahead, which is,
Okay, so 7 Dowling Street, there's actually 2 DEP numbers that are being requested for certificate of compliance. One is 315156, which is for the subdivision, and then 315367. I put the plan up on the website if anyone went on it and took a look at it. 367 is for the lot, and the order was just for a septic system, and the wetlands is across the street, and only a very small portion of the lot is actually even in the buffer zone, but a notice of intent was filed and order of conditions was issued. So they're looking for a certificate of compliance on that. And so that would be a full certificate of compliance. I didn't get an as-built, but it's really just a very small portion of the front of the lot, the driveway, and some grading. I did go by and take a look at the lot, and I looked at it through our mapping system, and it's pretty much as represented on the plan.
okay, so that's both of those.
Yeah, so if you want to start
DEP
with the
file.
full for 315367 for 7 Dowling Street.
And that's okay.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, someone want to move that?
So move.
We have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Bailey?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Emilio?
Aye.
Betsy?
Aye.
Al?
Aye.
Jack? Aye. And
Okay.
now
Thank you.
also
And
the
the
other
second
one.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
partial certificate for that because it's just a lot within the subdivision.
Okay, someone want to move that?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Bailey?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Emilio?
Aye.
Betsy?
Aye.
Al?
Aye.
Jack? Aye. Okay.
Okay, so you're all set.
Take care of that.
Greg?
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Landis.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, back to when this came up with the Zoom, it was determined that we could legally have Zoom meetings. And that's where I brought up that the governor had considered this through April, is my understanding of this year. And then when this recent COVID variant came up and started spreading all over the place, the town administrator suggested that various committees consider going to Zoom. I expect that now has that the rate at which that variant had increased has declined, so that it's probably not as pertinent as it was a month ago. But when this came up, the point was that I could participate in the meetings via Zoom, but the meetings could be held in person. So right now we're talking about one meeting that I wouldn't be there, the first one in March 9th, but I can participate on Zoom if you want to do it that way, or go to strictly in person beginning in March, because the next one's been advertised for Zoom. So what do you want to do? And then I will be back by the second meeting in March, which is the 22nd, I believe it is.
So let's do the Zoom for the first meeting in March, and then we'll have open meetings after that. That's a simple thing to do.
We could do both. We could do a hybrid meeting beginning in March, and then just go, if we want, just
I'd
go
like to do a
to,
hybrid meeting in March, because that's when we're seeing the Hilltop Farm Solar Project again. And we had a lot of people out, and I suspect we would have had more people out, because you only hear about the people who tried to get in but couldn't get in, or made an effort, like Bill Hamilton made an effort. You don't hear about the people who were excluded. And that could easily be Bill if he weren't alert about the library helping him out like that. I didn't even know the library would do that, but they do. So I would like us to go back to in person with the hybrid for you, Jack. We'll grandfather you in out there in Missouri. But generally, I want us to be back. I think we're missing people from the public, and we're not hearing from them. They're just not here. And that has me concerned.
yeah, I agree. My personal feeling is I prefer in-person meetings. It's just that in the past, I have not participated.
Right.
And this was an opportunity to be able to participate. And it could be that just the commission would be on Zoom, and it would only be in person for the public.
No.
Wasn't that
No.
Landis, wasn't that an option?
Sorry, what was that?
That we could do a meeting, that the meeting would be in person for the public, and that commissioners could be on Zoom. It seems to me that was an option that was available.
I'm going to tell you, as a citizen of this town who occasionally is in the audience of another board's meeting, I don't like it. Okay, I mean, I know we've had to have all kinds of jerry-rigged stuff the last 2 years. If I would like to get away from that kind of jerry-rigged stuff. Jack, you're grandfathered in for the first meeting in March, but I want us to be back in person. I really feel strongly. I don't like it as a citizen if I go to another board and you know, they've got something jerry-rigged like that.
So Betsy, it's not jerry-rigged. It's an option that is commonly used. So I want to say that. And so if you want to go to hybrid for the first meeting in March, then then the way the meeting can be set up is board members come in person, or if a board member can't, then they can Zoom in. And if a butter can't, then they can also ask questions through the Zoom process. I'm getting feedback here. I think your assumption, I think there are some people that are afraid to come in person. I think there's both. There's people who have problems with Zoom, but there's definitely people that don't want to come to a public space for whatever reason. They may have a small child. They do not feel comfortable. They have immune compromised system. There's definitely people out there. So it goes both ways. So if you want to have a hybrid meeting in March for the first meeting, then we can set that up for those who cannot attend. They can ask questions through Zoom, and we can have Jack also on Zoom. Does that make sense?
Dean's, I guess I'm the feedback person. Sorry. Can we get Dean's opinion too? I mean, I have been thinking about him. He has a brand new baby. Like,
Yeah, he didn't come tonight, which I'm surprised because he asked a question, but maybe he just couldn't for some reason. So I think if we're going to do hybrid, it should be hybrid for whoever can't, for whomever wants to Zoom in.
for both meetings in March, just to get people back into the idea of coming back in real time, in person. I think it's most inclusive. It's the most inclusive option. People like to be digital. I think that's getting a younger audience too. But I like the in-person. I'm not going to say I don't. I like to be in person. So I think.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
Do we need to vote, or we just have we agreed that we'll do the 2 meetings in March as hybrid? You want to vote on this?
I need some kind of consensus so I know how to set it up.
I move that we have the 2 meetings in March as hybrid.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Bailey?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Emilio?
Aye.
Betsy?
Abstaining.
Al?
Aye.
Jack? Aye. Okay, so it's 501. Okay, so we'll do hybrid meetings in March. And at that point, then at this point, then April will be back to just the regular schedule unless we do something different. Okay? Okay. Let's see what else we had here. We voted for the peer review. We have minutes from January 23rd.
Oh, it's actually the 26th. I made a mistake on the
Oh.
agenda.
Okay, it's the 26th.
Yeah.
Okay, someone want to move the minutes for January 26th?
I'll move them.
Do we have a second?
Second.
That was Betsy. Okay, all in favor? Bailey,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Emilio,
Aye.
Betsy?
I said aye, yes. Aye.
Oh, okay, sorry. Al?
Aye.
Jack, aye. Okay, so that takes care of the minutes. Now did we ever get the minutes from the November 29th? Were those ever sent out?
Were they ever sent out? Did anyone
was-
get them?
That was a special
was-
meeting. And I
Yeah,
think
it was a
all-
special meeting. It was.
And it was all executive session, I think.
Yeah, I did do them, but I guess I didn't send them out yet. So let's just
Okay.
hold them.
We'll just, okay,
And
I'll
that-
send it out next time.
keep that on the agenda.
I never
Okay.
got paid for that, actually.
You never got paid for that?
No.
It's in the mail, media, like all the other checks. They're all in the mail.
All right, I'll wait.
Okay, what else we got here? Master plan update, we don't have, Dean is not available tonight, so we'll keep that on the agenda. The Pinnacle Point update, now is that the
Nothing new.
appeal,
We
or is
haven't
that
heard
the
any-
trail?
That was the trail. I haven't heard any additional, I haven't heard anything from town council.
Okay. All right, under, we got enforcements, nothing new on Main Street. Palmer Lane, there's nothing new there, is there?
Nope.
That's waiting for things to grow. Washington Street, is there anything new on that with Capone? Nothing new?
Nothing new. I need to reach out to them to see if anything's happened in Norwood, but I haven't heard back from them.
Okay. Burns Avenue, you issued some additional fines, and you also indicated that there wouldn't be fines for things because of the weather situation. So there's nothing new on that?
Right at this point, it's still being held because of the weather. I did go out there and take a look. There's still snow covered on the site, and the ground was not, it's still somewhat frozen. There was rivulets of water you could tell coming off of Burns Ave, but the swale that they constructed along the boundary of the wetlands should catch anything coming off onto the site before it goes, before it erodes into the wetlands. So I'd say at this point, the site is stable.
Okay.
So I'll keep on monitoring it.
All right, the Pinnacle mill site appeal, well, there's two on there. One is the Pinnacle SORAD, which there was a decision from the superseding order appeal decision that maintains that the bird pond is a part of the Neponset River. I don't know, anything more you need to add to that, Landis?
No, just the presiding judge agreed with the commission and DEP that the Neponset River is indeed a river from beginning to end, and therefore it has a riverfront area.
Okay. And then the mill complex is in, there was a hearing, which we mentioned at the last meeting. We were supposed to get together with town council yesterday, but he had to bail out because he was on a court meeting via Zoom. So he couldn't, we couldn't discuss it with him, but we're set up for next Tuesday to discuss this, our approach or a strategy for the next portion of that hearing. So
Right,
there'll
so
be-
what we have was a pre-conference hearing with the presiding judge, which the presiding judge just discussed with the parties, the applicant, and the commission and DP, if there was anything that everyone felt they could agree on, any of the facts or not, and what the main points of that needed to be adjudicated are. Then the judge sent out a report from the pre-conference meeting, at which point he sent out a schedule for what had to be filed, the summaries for testimony, and the schedule is very tight. So the town council requested an extension on the dates. So originally the adjudicatory hearing was going to be on April 27th, and it was extended to June 14th, which gives just a little more time to meet the various deadlines for filing testimony.
So that's ongoing. Planning board, 655 Elm Street, is that anything?
Right, so
involving
that's a
us?
plan the commission we already looked at. That's for the monastery religious center. The additions that are gonna occur, they're outside of the wetlands protection jurisdiction and the bylaw jurisdiction, and they're not altering over 40,000 square feet, so they don't have to file with us.
Okay, is there anything else on the agenda? I don't see anything else.
Jack, you wanted to talk about Adams Farm?
Yeah. The parcel that we recently purchased that goes from North Street down towards Willett Pond. The question has come up from the Adams Farm Committee, whether this is to be considered part of Adams Farm. And I said that it would partially depend on what the Conservation Commission wants to do about that. If you recall, we have added two parcels, a 4-acre parcel along the Blue Trail, and then this 8 acres that we just, and that was a donation. And the other was that 8-acre plus or minus that we purchased last year from the Pierce Estate that actually abut Adams Farm and are real, actually an integral part of Adams Farm. So this is different because it does not abut Adams Farm, although there will be a connection between Adams Farm and this parcel because there won't be any parking on the North Street parcel. So the questions come up, should this be considered part of Adams Farm? So your thoughts?
So, Jack,
Bailey?
oh, sorry.
Bailey, you have any thoughts or comments?
I'd love to, of course, hear what all the other commissioners have to say, but I think that kind of makes sense as long as it's a collaboration, you know. I don't feel like we own land. It's for Walpole and residents, and if they're going to help maintain it and upkeep it, why not?
Okay, let's, I'll have some additional comments, but let's see what other folks have here. Doug?
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if Adams Farm was in control of this property, kind of what does that really mean? If they wanted to do something with it, they still need to come back to us if it's a wetlands sort of impact. What is it? What would that mean if Adams Farm was in control of it?
It's a good question. Well, let me get into that. Let's see what other questions come up here. Emilio?
Yeah, similar kind of questions, I guess. What would be the advantage of that, or what would that mean? I guess so. You can speak to that, Jack, once we get to you. But I guess that's my question: is what are the advantages, or what would that mean if Adams Farm was in control?
Okay. Betsy?
I'm in favor of it. I think Adams Farm does a great job with the land it's got. And as Jack pointed out, we recently got an additional abutting bit of land that is now part of Adams Farm. This seems like it's appropriate.
Al?
Well, if it's connected to Adams Farm, the Adams Farm Committee will see that it gets maintained, whereas the Conservation Commission, as a board, we don't maintain anything. We don't have a group that goes out on a regular basis maintaining our existing property. So I think it's a positive, get somebody to manage it by tying it to Adams Farm.
Okay, let me just give you not everybody on the Adams Farm Committee is, I'll say gung-ho about it becoming part of Adams Farm and under the purview of the Adams Farm Committee. So that would be, along with if it's considered part of Adams Farm, one of the pluses with that is that the Friends of Adams Farm would also be then in the background, so to speak. And the Friends of Adams Farm, for those who may not be aware, do a lot of work at Adams Farm. All volunteer. The community garden is part of that, the butterfly garden, maintaining the barn. We just, between the Adams Farm Committee and the Friends of Adams Farm, paid for that boardwalk that is now connects the red trail that is on adjacent to that Pierce property. So that there's a big plus, as Al said, of maintaining things that are considered Adams Farm. I think one of the things that would probably be appropriate for this new parcel would be some form of a dock to launch and land canoes or kayaks from. And that is going to take, it has to be funded somehow. The Conservation Commission does have money that can be used, which we've done to buy these two parcels we just talked about, this one on North Street and the Pierce property. But we're not in the normal realm of maintaining properties. We hope the Trails Committee does a lot of the trails that happen to, some of which are on conservation property, but we don't really do a lot, or I don't think we've done much of anything of maintaining conservation properties. By that, I mean those pieces of property throughout the town that are under the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission. So with that.
Can I add, Jack?
Yes.
To what you're saying? It sounds to me that nothing would be, it's still all the property that is donated to the Conservation Commissioner, you buy, it's all under Article 97. None of that would change. Nothing would change as far as the property being Conservation Commission property. It would just be actually in addition that you would have this wonderful volunteer group involved in managing and working on the property. So it's really in addition, it's not really taking anything away from the Conservation Commission, just like Turner's Pond is conservation land, but the Ponds Committee does the skating and recreation department does the skating there. And there's parcels on Adams Farm that's still conservation land, but Adams Farm does the trails and manages it in a really nice way. So I think it's definitely an addition. It's not taking anything away from how it is now.
Okay. With that in mind, I think the next meeting for the Adams Farm Committee is March 8th, I think it is. I'll find my calendar.
Jack, what are some of the objections of, you said that not everyone on the committee is in favor. Why?
That it's not exactly contiguous to the existing Adams Farm. We will have a connection because that's where we're going to tell people to park at Adams Farm. And the only way to get back to the pond is going to be a trail would have to be along the west side of North Street, crossing North Street, and then down to the pond on this parcel that we just purchased. So it's, from that standpoint, it is not, the piece that we just purchased is not contiguous to Adams Farm, whereas these other parcels that have been added as conservation, in addition to the original, when Adams Farm was purchased by the town, originally the pieces, two of the parcels that are on each side of the power line designated as conservation property. That was to get a grant from the state to help with the purchase of the property. So there has been conservation, as Landis said, parcels as part of Adams Farm. It's all been considered Adams Farm. It hasn't been considered anything separate. And these two that I mentioned, the Pierce property and that donation from the Falcones, are part of, again, they abut existing Adams Farm property and just continue or extend the acreage of Adams Farm. So it makes sense. This, you could say, is separate, but I think the points that everybody's making, I agree with, that it would be good. And also there is a process for anybody who wants to do something at an application for using Adams Farm. There's an application process that is in existence that goes through the Adams Farm Committee. For those who may not be aware of it, if any large group, all the fundraising activities, we've had a few weddings, the bike race, it all goes through the Adams Farm Committee. If it's a new activity, it goes to the select board for their approval, and then people get a permit to use to fulfill that request. Some of them they pay for. We just added two categories last year, one for photographers, professional photographers to apply for a license to take professional pictures at using Adams Farm as their backdrop. And we got about a dozen people applied for a permit. So there's, that does provide some income, and there is a process to for that to happen. I don't know how this would apply as far as applications go, but the potential is there, certainly. Somebody want to have a picnic, and we have an area, there's an area there that could be used as a picnic area. So, I don't know, does that answer your questions? Anybody have any
Yeah,
questions?
I have a comment, just so that you're aware. You mentioned the possibility of a dock and a launch location for kayaks and canoes. Just so you're aware, licenses are required for doing that sort of thing, and there's a fee involved. And it's it's just not an automatic thing. There's a process you have to go through to become licensed to do have that kind of activity.
Right. And that would be dealing with the NEPRA and or the Neponset Land Holding Corporation.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Because NEPRA has the rights. I don't know about ownership, but has the rights to that area where the parcel, the property that we bought, then abuts the lake through the NEPRA's holding.
Well, actually, NEPRA doesn't own it anymore. It's been transferred over to some other individuals, and I don't have their names off the top of my head.
Is this different,
It's a
Landis?
it's public access easement, similar to the beach off of Brook Street,
And that's
where that
that's
peninsula is.
yeah,
yeah.
that's under NEPRA's jurisdiction, isn't it?
Well, they were the ones that negotiated that public easement. Yes.
Okay. So I don't know what, I'm not quite sure, and we haven't really explored that, how we deal between NEPRA and the landholding entity. We've got other things to do first. So, but that, yeah, I think but that is kind of a thought, as I said, that you would, if you're gonna be able to launch a boat, a canoe or a kayak or even a rowboat, it would be nice to have some small dock that you could do that with. So we'd have to explore that.
Question, is this now, sorry. Willet Pond, you said this is like it goes up to Willet Pond. Is this Adams Farm only connection to Willet Pond? Or do they have other connections?
No, there's.
This is the only one.
All of Adams Farm presently is on the west side of North Street.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I'm with Betsy. I think this is great. I honestly think we should fund a dock for them and get them all set up. And then they can take it from there and it would be terrific. That's what I think.
Okay, if I can summarize, then the Conservation Commission is in favor of having this parcel be considered part of the Adams Farm property, and under basically the Adams Farm Committee is appointed by the Select Board to administer what goes on at Adams Farm.
Yep, I would move to whatever you just said.
Okay, right. As I said, the next Adams Farm Committee meeting is March 8th. So I will bring it up at that and see what goes on. I don't know if this needs anything to go before the Select Board to say yes, no, or just keep it away. I don't know at this point. Landis, you have any thoughts?
If it has to go before, I have no idea. I'm not sure if it has to. I mean, for this parcel to be included in the management of the Adams Farm Committee.
Yeah, basically is to be considered part of Adams Farm and therefore under the purview of the Adams Farm Committee.
I'm not sure about that, but just to clarify, so it's an access and flow easement agreement. So our property abuts land which is adjacent to Willet Pond, and there is a access and flow easement agreement. An agreement is between the Ponset River Land Holdings and the Ponset River Watershed Association. So prior to the Neponset River Watershed Association giving up their rights to the pond, they negotiated this agreement. The same thing with the beach, so that there would be two areas where there would be public access. So it's an easement. It's still owned by Neponset Land Holdings, but Neponset River Watershed holds the easement.
Okay, is that clarified for everybody? Okay. Anything else?
So do you want me to find out if anything like that has to go to the Board of Selectmen? I wouldn't think it would, but I can ask. I mean, it's conservation land. And I guess if the Adams Farm Committee votes to accept it into their, yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm just wondering at this point, we just let that sleeping dog lie for the time being.
Okay. Until you have a vote.
Till we see what, yeah. I don't know if it would raise any questions that, any other questions, or we just, let's just wait till it comes up with the Adams Farm Committee again, and then we can see whether that they want to get a formal declaration of that. So, okay. Anybody have anything else? Okay.
Did you finish the vote? Sorry, did you finish that vote?
of, on this, the Adams
Yeah.
Farm?
Yeah.
Actually, well, it wasn't. We didn't make a motion to vote on, but you want a motion?
Emilio made a motion.
You
Yeah, I
did.
thought Emilio made a motion.
You did.
Yeah. And then we ignored him.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
I was gonna second it, but I was just tired of seconding things. I'll second it.
Okay, Emilio, your motion was?
Okay,
My motion was to propose to Adams Farm that they manage, however you want to word it, they manage the property, or they, how would you phrase it? Control the property or maintain it? What's the best
I
wording?
think to participate in the management.
Okay. I move that.
Okay, then Betsy, you second? Okay. All in favor, Bailey?
Aye.
Okay. Doug,
Abstain.
Emilio,
Aye.
Betsy,
Aye.
Al,
Aye.
Jack, aye. Okay.
okay.
501. Okay. All right. I'll let you know what comes up at the next Adams Farm Committee meeting then. All right. Thank you all.
Motion
Someone
to
want to
adjourn.
adjourn the meeting? Thank you, Al.
Second.
Second?
Everybody in
Emilio.
favor? Okay, we roll call out. Okay, Bailey,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Emilio.
Aye.
Betsy,
Aye.
Al,
Aye.
Jack, aye. Okay, good night, everybody. Thanks.